Raiders are a flippin' circus, and coming up here on today's show, I'm going to get into my overreaction Monday after a 40-6 loss to the Indianapolis Colts. When I woke up this morning, I felt like a normal human being. Unfortunately, the more and more I started diving in and looking at everything that I had to look at from that game yesterday, I realized this. Let's turn this into a circus because Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, and this entire team is a flippin' circus right now. So what you guys are going to be seeing here on today's program are the three biggest storylines going on right now around Raider Nation after this game. I'll tell you this right now. You could take all the game tape you want from that one down below, and you might as well throw it out the window because I don't know what you're going to learn from it. What you're going to learn is that you got a head coach that doesn't know his team, that you got a quarterback that can't pull his head out of his ass. You got an offensive coordinator in Chip Kelly that wishes he was still in college football. A defensive coordinator in Patrick Graham that can't make any proper adjustments. And if you believe that Raider Nation deserves better, hit that subscribe button. I'm wearing a clown mask right now for a reason. Because it's a circus right now at Allegiant Stadium. And I mean this when I say this. If you plan on going to that game when the Raiders are going to go play the Tennessee Titans next week, if those tickets aren't free, then you're a lot crazier than me. I hope that you hit that subscribe button. I hope you hang out with me all day today, and I hope that you hang out with me all week because I'm telling you this, I'm going to be bringing the energy. I'm going to be bringing it, and I hope that the Raiders players out there hear it. I hope the Raiders coaching staff hears it because I'm sick and tired of this circus that is the Las Vegas Raiders. So let's go to the very first topic. This last week was an overreaction. I am a baseball guy at heart. And I always say sometimes you get 3 strikes and you're out. Well, guess what? At this point, we've given Geno Smith 4 strikes, and he is still out. The problem is he's still walking around. He's still talking saying a bunch of shit that doesn't even mean anything. Is it time to bench Geno Smith? This one is 4 just win babies. It's believe it, baby. I am sick to my stomach. I hate myself right now to even say that I want to bench Geno Smith, but I don't know what else to do this season. He has played like a quarterback that should be benched. He's playing like a quarterback that's one of the worst in the NFL. Right now, a 74.1 quarterback impact rating. That is 24th out of 37 quarterbacks. He also has a negative 0.07 drop back to EPA. That is 30th best in the NFL. I understand that we were hoping to get a better Geno Smith. We are getting the worst Geno Smith that we have had in a very, very long time. Quite frankly, maybe we got the New York Jets Geno Smith and the New York Jets Pete Carroll because Pete Carroll has never been 1-4 in his entire career. And I don't know why every time we think that we're going to get a good head coach, that we think we're going to get a good quarterback, they end up looking like the worst quarterback, the worst head coach you could possibly have. But I know that we wanted to be patient with Geno. I wanted to be patient with Geno. But this guy leads the NFL right now with 9 interceptions this season. And when you do turn on the tape and you watch him try to make plays, he's clearly not seeing the field well. He's clearly making horrible decisions. He clearly doesn't trust the offense at hand. And he clearly is well in over his head. And I'll also say this. Geno and Chip Kelly are a terrible duo. They've been a terrible duo. This team is not proving to me, Geno Smith is not proving to me that he can make the proper adjustments, that he is mentally tough enough to make the proper adjustments. And I know it's only been 5 games, but I am somebody that when I sit back and I watch, I go, are we getting better? Are we learning from our past mistakes? And what are we doing to find a problem? What is the solution of that problem? Right now, we are not doing any of those things. We're not making proper adjustments. We're not trying to find solutions. We're just saying a bunch of BS to try to get us to the next week, and then we're going to be fed the exact same BS next week. It is the definition of insanity. It is the reason why I am wearing this flippin' clown costume. And you know what? If I could give an extra one to Chip Kelly, I'd love to be able to give an extra one to Chip Kelly so I don't got to look at that smug grin on his face. He is the highest paid offensive coordinator in the NFL. And don't get me wrong, Geno Smith's been getting a lot of shit. The offensive line has been getting a lot of shit. You know who's not getting enough shit? Chip flipping Kelly. And when you look at the offense that he's out there doing right now, it looks like a Josh McDaniels, a Luke Getsy offense, an offense that very first drive, you go 9.5 minutes, 10 freaking plus plays all the way down the field, and you end up having to kick a field goal. Why? Because you're going away from the ground game. You're moving on from Ashton Jeanty way too soon. Our red zone struggles are continuing because we're doing what Josh McDaniels and Getsy did. Overcomplicate the simple. If you're moving the football and Ashton Jeanty is really grinding down and you know that your quarterback's been having some issues, the number one thing that I would try to do is establish the running game. Here's what's crazy. You did establish the running game, but then you went away from it and you never tried to go back to it. The game plans by Chip Kelly have been atrocious. The inability to make corrections as the game goes on have been atrocious. The overall scouting performance of this coaching staff with the players that we have at hand has been absolutely positively atrocious. And I can't tell you enough how disappointed I am in the coaching staff, in Geno Smith. And honestly, I feel like a clown because I bought in to what the Raiders were selling. Well, right now, the only thing the Raiders are selling is that it is a circus every single Sunday, and I hope you get your tickets to the Allegiant Stadium Circus. Because you know what else is a circus? How bad Geno's been his first 5 games. And, you know, sometimes when you talk about the struggles of somebody, you got to compare them to somebody else. And let's talk about Jimmy Garoppolo. Let's talk about Gardner Minshew. I brought this up last week, and I don't think people really understood how serious I was. Geno Smith, in his first 5 games with the Raiders, has been worse than Gardner Minshew in his first 5 games with the Raiders. Geno Smith has been worse than Jimmy Garoppolo in his first 5 games with the Raiders. I mean, look at these numbers here. Sure, the attempts completion percentage, you could say what you want, but, you know, Gardner also threw the ball a lot less. Yeah, he's got less yards. Yeah, he's got less touchdowns, but Gardner Minshew was turning the ball over less than Geno Smith. Gardner Minshew won more football games with the Raiders in his first 5 games than Geno Smith. And if we're being really honest, the team overall was better with Gardner Minshew, and it was better with Luke Getsy. It might have been better with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback because look at these numbers now. Jimmy Garoppolo, more touchdowns. Jimmy Garoppolo, less interceptions. Raiders in general, a better record. I know that it is not just a Geno Smith problem, and I understand that very, very clearly. But right now, Pete Carroll is putting his name on the line with number 7 by going out and trading for a quarterback in Geno Smith, by going out and extending him before he ever played a snap with the Raiders. At the time, I thought it was a great deal. At the time, I looked at what Geno and Pete accomplished in Seattle. I looked at a guy that had the 6th most quarterback wins over the past 3 seasons. He had 27. Only Jared Goff, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, and Jared Goff had more wins at the quarterback position than Geno Smith coming into this year over the past 3 seasons. And now we have arguably one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the NFL. Why? It's a top-to-bottom circus for the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, here's going to be the question that I'm going to ask y'all. And I know I've been going on a tangent today, but guess what? You're going to get a lot of tangents today when you pull up to the Raiders report. I'm just going to warn you right now. What should the Raiders do with Geno Smith? Do you keep starting him? Type S for start. Or do you type B for bench? Let me know down below. My answer is going to be coming up here after this YouTube ad break. Well, I started the show off by saying it, and I'm going to keep on saying it. It is time to bench Geno Smith, and I'm saying it's time to bench Geno Smith because Geno has not shown me any ability to get better. Chip Kelly has not shown me that he can get any better with Geno Smith. Pete Carroll has shown me that he cannot get any better with Geno Smith. And if we're going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, I get it. Only 5 weeks. But imagine if you were studying for a test and you failed miserably for that test 4 flipping times in a row. Well, guess what? I would probably change up how you learn how to study. And one thing I'm going to learn how to study right now is how bad Geno is. And the one thing that I'm going to try to switch up right now is the quarterback position. Because right now, Geno Smith is on pace to throw 31 interceptions. Let me say that again in case you were not paying attention. Geno Smith is on pace to throw 31 interceptions. 31 interceptions. The last time there has not been a quarterback to throw 31 interceptions in the year since 2000. The last guy to throw 30 interceptions was Jameis Winston in 2019 with John Spytek down in Tampa Bay. The numbers that we are seeing are historically bad from Geno Smith. When things are historically bad, you make changes. It's not like, oh, it's just a 5-game sample size of kind of bad. It's a 5-game sample size of historically flipping bad quarterback play, and I just think it's time to make a change. So, does that mean it's time to start Kenny Pickett? Because I know there's going to be a lot of people talking about, oh, Mitch, well, what about Aiden O'Connell? I'm going to tell you, if it's AOC time, if it's Kenny Pickett time, and that's going to be coming up here in just a moment. But first, I want to talk to y'all about our sponsor, Prize Picks. If you feel like a clown because you're making the wrong decisions every single day watching the Raiders, well, maybe you can get some of the excitement over on Prize Picks where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you can cash in and win up to 2,000 times your money. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Prize Picks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. Also, Prize Picks is got this new feature, and they're the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup, whether you want to pick more, whether you want to pick less. And you can see I ended up doing this with Daniel Jones. Again, clown. I didn't win any money. Daniel Jones, I thought would throw an interception. I'm never going to do that again at this point. If you're going up against the Raiders, it's more, because that was more. More. We're just going to, if it's against the Raiders, we're going more. Hell, we couldn't even get an extra point. Couldn't even get an extra point yesterday, for the love of God. I mean, it's an absolute flipping joke. But you know what? Whether you're planning on watching some good baseball games, we got some playoff baseball. Whether you want to watch a little bit of football, I will be live tonight for Monday Night Football, Chiefs, Jaguars. Hopefully you all tune in. Then if you want to, download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. So let's go to the next Overreaction Monday topic. And is it time to start Kenny Pickett? Holy shit, it's only week 6, and I already can't wait for this season to be over with. I'm going to give it 4 just win babies, and it's believe it, baby. And the reason why it's start Kenny Pickett time, number 1, Aiden O'Connell is still on the IR. And the Raiders, they went out, and I personally think that they spend a little bit of they overspent a little bit to go out and get Kenny Pickett. And I know I'm going to get, Mitch, we should go trade for Shedeur Sanders. It's not going to happen. They already picked one Browns quarterback over Shedeur, and I don't even want to bring up the whole Shedeur thing, but I know I'm going to get it over and over and over and over again. In terms of Kenny Pickett, though, I think we just need a change because what we have seen from this football team over the past 4 weeks is a pathetic team. Quite frankly, it might be the worst team in the NFL, and luckily for us, we get to battle it out to find out who's the worst team in the NFL. Next week, when the Raiders go play the Tennessee Titans at Allegiant Stadium. Now, maybe the New York Jets have something to say about that. They're also 0-5. But to me, Kenny Pickett could give this team, coaches, players, fans, some hope. And I'm not saying that I think that this is going to work. I'm going to be honest with you. I still think Geno Smith is a better quarterback than Kenny Pickett. I still think that Geno Smith is a better quarterback than Aiden O'Connell. But right now, you're also dealing with, and I'm just going to be honest, I'm doing some digging. I got an interesting message yesterday. Today is my wife's birthday. Yesterday, I was with my wife. So I have not done as much digging as I usually do after a game like that. But I'm just going to be honest. There are some people right now inside of that organization that are wondering, is it more important to this regime that their guys are taken care of, or is it more important that the Raiders are winning football games? So I do think that benching Geno for Pickett proves that compete mentality is true, that no matter what, you're going to compete for your job. Because right now what it looks like is only guys that Pete Carroll likes don't have to compete for that job. If you're on the shit list for whatever reason, like JPJ has been, if you're on that shit list, you're just going to have to prove it. And it seems a little bit strange right now But benching Geno Smith proves to everybody, not just the fans, not just the players, not just the coaches, to everybody, that you actually believe and you stand by that compete mantra. Because if you're a football team and you just predicate yourself on compete, 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 but then you don't go out there and compete and you don't make guys compete, what do you stand for? It means you have absolutely no identity. So this regime has had success jump-starting quarterback careers before. Look at Baker Mayfield with John Spytek. I mean, honestly, Pete Carroll with Russell Wilson, Geno Smith. We have seen this regime, Tom Brady going back down to Tampa Bay. We've seen this regime jumpstart quarterback careers before, and I almost got to wonder, is it time to try to jumpstart the career of Kenny Pickett, a quarterback that the Raiders went out and they traded for? Now, let's face the facts here. The numbers throughout his career, he was a first-round pick out of Pittsburgh. I'm a Pennsylvania guy, so I knew a lot about Kenny Pickett. I knew a lot of good leadership qualities in him. He hasn't done the best in the NFL, a little bit of time in Pittsburgh, a little bit of time in Philadelphia, but there's a reason why our regime wanted to go out and get him, and it's why they decided to go out and get him. But at this point, can Kenny Pickett be worse than Geno Smith? Maybe, but there's only one way to find out. And I think at this point, if you are a football team that believes in the compete mentality, I don't give a shit what Pete Carroll said after the game talking about benching Geno Smith. If you honestly believe in the compete mentality, it is time to have a serious conversation with Geno Smith. It is time to have a conversation with Kenny Pickett. And all I'm asking for is to make it a quarterback battle. Make it an open competition, because there's no way that you can still say Geno Smith is our best quarterback. You can't say it. And if you can say that he's still the best quarterback and he gives you the number one chance to win, well then what else are we doing at the other positions at the quarterback spot? It's very, very frustrating. Now, I do want to give a huge, huge shout out to our MVP of the show yesterday in our Raiders-Colts game, my guy Alan Cruz. Sorry that I'm wearing this flipping mask, Alan, but maybe you'll remember it because I'm hoping I forget that Raiders-Colts game. But seriously, dude, you showed up. You're an OG watcher. You actually just changed your photo probably a few months ago, and it's really, really cool to be able to put a face to a name that has been a part of this show for a long time. If you banged yesterday, real one. If you showed up yesterday, real one. Here's my promise. I can't guarantee you the Raiders are going to be good, clearly. I think the Raiders might be a circus yet again. If you tune into the Raiders Report, we will have fun. That's the number one thing I'm worried about. I'm not going to be worried about the Raiders winning football games anymore. I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm just not going to do it. It's not healthy for me. It's probably not healthy for you. But when you tune into the Raiders Report, we will have fun. Whether it's doing a Monday Night Football watch party, a crazy Thursday Night Football show, even on Raiders game day, I'm just going to have fun. I'm going to turn Raiders game day into basically Thursday Night Football, basically Monday Night Football, where it's more important to me to have fun hanging out with the nation than to talk about and watch the shit product that has been on the field throughout this season, because it's wearing me down already, and I don't want to give up on Raider Nation. I will never give up on Raider Nation. But Alan Cruz, shout out to you, and shout out to everybody that pulled up yesterday, because I still had a lot of fun. Let's go to the final story here on Overreaction Monday, because I'm not going to lie to y'all, it's starting to get hot in here. It's starting to get hot in here, and if Nelly was here, he'd probably be taking off all of his clothes. Is the Raiders season over? I hate saying this, but I honestly believe it. The Raiders season is over. And I do want to be very clear. It's still very important for us fans to watch the games, and I mean that because I want to see what players don't give up. I also want to be able to find what players do give up. I want to see which guys are trending in the right direction going into the next offseason, because what's clearly the case is I honestly believe this, that I know this team better than our coaches do, but I also think it's really important for fans to still study to learn certain guys that are like, oh, you know that guy's going to be a part of the next regime. Oh, that guy's clearly trending in the right direction, instead of, oh, that guy's not playing well. It's still very, very important to watch every single game and to be tuned in to this show because, again, if we want to go in the right direction, now's the most important time. But in terms of the Raiders accomplishing anything this season, I hope I'm wrong. I'll wear this clown mask every single freaking Monday if the Raiders prove me wrong, because I'll be happy to be the clown. But at this point, I think you got to say the season is over. And the first reason is this team doesn't have an identity. And, we're not only struggling on the offensive side of the football. I know we've talked a lot about Geno Smith, a lot about Chip Kelly, but we are failing on special teams. I mean, we probably gave up a kick return touchdown yesterday. Luckily, there was a holding call, and it ended up getting called back. There was a blocked punt. Daniel Carlson missed another field goal. You got A.J. Cole. He's banged up now as your punter, but you failed on special teams. You failed on defense. You failed on offense, and it's not the first time that you failed in all three phases of the game. Now, after the game, you got Max Crosby. They asked him, how do you feel? He said, no comment. Well, let me give you a comment, Max. I think you as a leader got to look at every single one of those players and say, what type of team are we? And you need somebody that's willing to challenge someone or stand up in front because you're getting paid $36 million. It's time for you to start acting more like a true leader. And I'm not saying Max isn't a great leader. He is a great leader. But when you're paid that amount of money, if Geno ain't getting it done, it's time for you to step up there in front of everybody and start challenging someone. Because if you're not going to challenge anyone, who is going to challenge him? Because right now we got, instead of Dad Pete, we got Grandfather Pete, where he gives ice cream cones and cupcakes, butterflies, and rainbows every single day. And if you want free allowance, you're going to get free allowance if you're one of Pete Carroll's guys. We need an identity. We need our leaders to step up. Let's go to the next reason here. I don't think the coaches know the players well. When you watch the offense that Chip Kelly's running right now, I don't know if he's got something against Jeanty, and I don't know if it's an ego thing because he's doing his Michael Myers stance now, or Michael Myers stance, but I feel like as soon as Jeanty got it rolling, Chip Kelly went away from him. As soon as our defense, why are we playing a soft zone coverage against the Indianapolis Colts? We can't cover as linebackers. We're still using Isaiah Ballamau as a free safety. Yesterday, Geno Smith is chewing out Jordan Meredith because of the amount of assignments that he missed. We're unwilling to put JPJ at center. There's just so many examples that I can give where you're like, that guy's getting used the wrong way. This coach doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And all you hear is Pete Carroll still talking about, oh, we're learning. What the flip were we doing in March, April, May, June, July, August? If those times are a waste for a Pete Carroll, John Spytek regime, then we got an even bigger issue because we had opportunities to make changes in free agency. We had opportunities to build in the draft. And right now we're a team that lacks a lot of talent. We do. We are very thin on offense. We are very thin on defense. And especially on the defensive side of the football, we are very, very thin from talent. And we had opportunities to get better on defense. We had opportunities to spend money. And I think what's scary is, Pete Carroll's standing up there at the podium and he's like, yeah, I'm shocked just as you guys are. I expected to win. I think what scares me is you got a coaching staff telling you that they expected to win, yet we're 1-4, yet we look completely lost. And then the talent that we have on this squad doesn't look like it's trending in the right direction because even though this team stinks right now and we should be rebuilding, we should be allowing some of our younger players to get more reps. Apparently our younger players aren't even good enough to get on the field to play over the guys that are playing right now, and the guys that are playing right now are absolute dog water. Let's go to the next reason here. The inability to make adjustments. I didn't think it would be possible to have a coaching staff maybe worse than a McDaniels regime, than a Antonio Pierce regime in terms of making just adjustments in general, but yet here we are again. No red zone adjustments. After our first drive, we literally can't do anything the remainder of the game, and then on defense, we're just going to keep running soft zone, even if it doesn't work. Doesn't matter. We're just going to keep doing it over and over. And right now, I think our coaching staff, I don't know if it's an ego thing. I don't know if it's just we got a bunch of old men that are just too locked in their ways to be able to just say, I was wrong. I made the wrong decisions. And, again, we're kind of just dealing with old men being afraid to admit that they were wrong, and instead of admitting that they were wrong, they're just going to keep doing what they wanted to do over and over and over again, even if it's late. Like, I am actually concerned if you offered directions to Chip Kelly, if you offered directions to Pete Carroll, and you're like, hey, you got to go east, but they were going west, and you offered them directions, they'd go, nah, I know where I'm going, and they would just keep traveling west. Quite frankly, I hope that they just keep traveling. Don't even show up to the game. Don't even show up. And then the last reason here why I think the season's over is it's hard to win in the NFL when you got no quarterback play. And That's why Geno's going to get most of the conversation, because I do think with just average quarterback play, we are at least 2-3. I do. I think with average quarterback play, we're 2-3. If Derek Carr is the Raiders quarterback, you guys are going to love this. We are at least 2-3. I mean, it's the truth. Like, I know there's a lot of frustration since moving on from Derek, but what the Raiders would be able to accomplish with just average quarterback play, which is the definition of Derek Carr. He is the definition of an average NFL quarterback. But you know what? I really, really miss having average quarterback play. So my Overreaction Monday video is this. It's time to bench Geno Smith. It's time to start Kenny Pickett, because at this point, what else do you have to lose? It's a circus here in Las Vegas. Do I think the season's over? Yes, I do. I don't think that there's any chance in hell this team has a chance in hell to make the playoffs, but I'm not going to give up on Raider Nation. If you're just as frustrated as I am, I think it's even more of a reason to hit that subscribe button. I think there's even more of a reason to tune into the Raiders Report, because if you're a Raiders fan, you're like, hey, man, I'm not going to miss any games. Hey, man, I'm always going to stay up to date. Well, let's have a little bit of fun while we do it. My number one promise to Raider Nation is this. Win, lose, or tie, we will have fun on the Raiders Report. And if they keep losing and keep looking the way that they did, it just means we're going to crank it up just a little bit more. If you want to have some fun, I expect to see you today and tonight, Monday Night Football. Let's root for the Jags to take down the Chiefs. Let's have some fun while we do it.